Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in the Wild podcast. Here we are, Mally and Laura Grace, taking on another episode from opposite corners of the state of Tennessee.
Yes, indeed. We are in opposite corners of this wide state.
It's not really opposite corners. We're both on the east corners, just north,
I was about to say
east,
this.
southeast.
We have the longest state, and we're still in the same part. We're both in East Tennessee right now.
Yep.
But you know what? It feels like we're worlds away.
It has never felt like we are more worlds away than we are right now. Mally and I have talked the least in the past 2 weeks. Probably than since we didn't have cell phones and went on summer break.
Yeah, since we were infantiles.
Since we could speak.
And we were only not speaking then because we didn't know how.
Yeah, we were still making noises at each other probably.
Right. No, we've just been I was telling her we've been in completely different time zones, as in day and night.
Yeah.
Not because we're on opposite ends of the earth, but just simply our circadian rhythms have been missing each other.
Literally, I go into work at 8:30ish. Mally is on her way home. I leave work at 6. Mally's on her way to work.
I'm clocking in.
Yeah.
When you clock out, I'm clocking out. I'm clocking in. We just missed. That was really confusing.
Are you okay?
No, because I worked last night, and the night after I get off, it's just fog in there.
Yeah.
Colin and I, we work exactly the opposite. The minute, down to the minute
Oh
that
my
he clocks
god.
out is at 6:53 and I clock in at 6:53.
That sucks so much.
We literally went 3 days last week and talked on the phone one time.
That's
And that's
crazy.
it. I know. It's like, wow, what an exciting marriage that I'm about to go into.
Well, when will he start working nights?
Oh, it'll be a while because he just went back into orientation for 16 weeks or something crazy.
16 weeks, dang.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
so there was always another person in this marriage. Who quoted that?
Princess Diana.
Yeah, and you're the other person.
I'm Camilla.
Yeah. Anywho, guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are so happy to be back this week. Last week in May.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
June. That's so insane.
Terrifying, truly.
This episode is going to be about influencing, being under the influence. We're going to give you all our favorite alcoholic beverages. Kidding. No, we're just going to talk about influencer culture and social media and the things of that nature. Thought it would be a fun topic to delve into. But before that, do you have any life updates or anything cracking?
Well, I've just been working away. We had a great Labor Day, not Labor Day, that's in September or something. August, I don't know when Labor Day is. We had a great Memorial Day weekend. I had Monday off, so I went to Knoxville to celebrate Kennedy, my college friend's engagement, and it was genuinely so much fun. It was like my little college group, and we truly had a blast. And because it was a long weekend, we didn't feel super rushed. We got to squeeze a lot of stuff in. And yeah, we basically just chit-chatted for 3 days straight. And we went to the Knoxville Zoo, which was very fun.
Did you?
Yeah, it was honestly a blast.
Okay, good. Were the animals okay or did they look depressed?
Well, a lot of them were going to bed for the day. We went at probably 3. Oh, we went at 3 because we went to Cracker Barrel before that, and it took 2.5 hours.
I was about to say, you went to Cracker Barrel on Memorial Day? Rookie mistake.
No, it was empty. Well, also, first of all, that was on on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But there was no one in there. And we probably waited to be seated for 20 minutes. Didn't feel too crazy, nothing insane. But then we got seated, and our waitress was I don't want to say worst waitress I've ever had, because it's not Well, no, I guess she was bad. Like, she was awful.
Nope, she was the worst.
She was really like, I'm going to give a waitress, like, the benefit of the doubt every single time.
Yeah, you've been there, done that.
Yeah, I've been a horrible waitress, like, I get it, you know? But to make a long story short, she ended up suggesting to us that we just leave without paying
No.
because
You're gonna have to delve more into this story.
well, okay, so she claims that the first thing I can either make it super long or super short. I don't know how to do anything in between, but I'll try to keep it short. So we sit down, and the first thing she says to us is, "Did you sit down before them, or did y'all sit down? Or who sat down first out of like the two tables, like across from each other in her section?"
Mhm.
And then she was like, "Wait, actually, I don't even have that table anymore." And we're like, "Okay, like slay girl, whatever." And don't think much of it. Like that was kind of weird, but who cares?
Right.
She starts taking our order. She's reading our order back to us. She's like, I'm trying to think of the exact phrase that she kept saying. Oh, so we have a grandma's plate. Oh, oh, sorry, my brain's not working today. So we have I wrote down HM, honey mustard. Sorry, guys, my brain's not working today. I'm not kidding. First of all, she said my brain's not working today 3 times in the course of reading what she had just written down back to us. And secondly, she genuinely said I wrote down HM, honey mustard. And by the way, it wasn't honey mustard.
Was it ham?
It was ham. So that was the beginning. And then we wait on our food for probably like 45 minutes, which is a long time to start with.
Mhm.
And then she comes over and she's like, "Y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm about to this is actually so funny. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm about to fight my manager. I'm about to punch him in the face." She said, they burnt your pancakes, so they're having to they're having to remake everything. And at that time, we all thought like they're having to remake everything because they burnt 2 people. Like 2 of us ordered pancakes. I don't know why.
Nope, start over.
In
Try
hindsight,
again.
what I think happened is she hadn't put our food in until then, until she told us that they burnt the
Yeah.
pancakes. So then, it's at least 45 minutes after this, and our food's still not there. And she just keeps coming back. "I'm about to fight my manager. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll give you first she says, I'll give you my employee discount. I'll just go up there with you and make sure they give it to you." And we're like, whatever. We just want to get out of here, girl. We want to eat
Yeah.
pancakes and leave and go to the zoo, okay? And you're hindering that. We don't care how much we have to pay for this. So, but everybody was super nice. It was fine. It was fine. At one point, they didn't have sweet tea, and she's complaining about the kitchen the whole time. And at one point, they did have sweet tea. So she comes out of the kitchen with a jug of tea and a whisk, and she has her hand in the sweet tea, stirring it as she's coming out, like while she's walking to our table. I wish I was making this up. I am not. And she's like, "Well, they didn't have any sweet tea, so I'm just mixing you some up." And she like pours it into Ryan's cup. And because the boys came on like the second day, so Ryan was there, and yeah, you could like taste the sugar granules,
Yeah.
So anyway, our food gets there. It's good. The food's good. Then we're going to leave, and she comes with us to go to the cash register, and she says to the lady at the cash register, "Hey, give them all my employee discount." And the lady's like, "I can't do that. Like, you haven't asked our manager. I'm not just gonna just give people your employee discount, like, and risk my job." Which we're like, totally, yeah. So me and Ryan just go ahead and pay. But then she comes out again, and she's like, uh, this place is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. You guys, you can just go ahead and go and not worry about paying." And Jana's like, "We can't do that. Like, we can't steal our food." And she's like, "Well, if you guys come back in and I'm your if you guys come back in and I'm your waitress again, like, I'll take care of you. Don't worry." And as we leave, we're like, "You're not working a second day here at the Cracker Barrel. I hope, for Cracker Barrel's good name's sake, that this is your last day at Cracker Barrel because it was absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe she told us to leave
No,
without
I
telling.
think she is making Cracker Barrel better. She's not cutting him any slack. She said, "I'm gonna hold you accountable for what you're doing, Cracker
I
Barrel."
will say, I wish that we could have, like, talked to her manager, not to say, like, "Can we talk to your manager?" and, like, complain about her or anything, but I think that the manager should have been doing more. If that
Yeah.
service was so bad or something was going on that was so extreme that we were sitting down waiting on our food for almost 2 hours, and in any circumstance when that happens at a restaurant, the manager should go talk to the table, and
Yeah.
they did not. And clearly they were having all kinds of problems in the kitchen too, so it wasn't only her, but yeah, that was our Cracker Barrel
It's so
experience.
funny when, like, loose cannons like that get jobs in the service industry
Yeah.
and just do not care. They have nothing to lose, so they're just gonna be as honest as possible.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know what? She probably made that experience so much more better. Imagine not being entertained by her.
That's exactly what Jana said. She was like, "If it wasn't for her, we would have no story to tell from Cracker Barrel."
Yeah. But just know Cracker Barrel needs to step up their game.
Something needs to change. I won't say the location or her name, but it was awful.
But don't test me, or I will. Well, thank you for sharing that story. It was actually very hilarious and entertaining.
I'm glad.
Actually, shocking.
Actually. Yeah, and
Yeah.
other than that, I've just been working my life away, you know?
Yeah, Laura Grace was telling me how, as things tend to go, the second week has not lived up to the first week's hype of her internship.
No, I still love it, and I love all the people, and, everything is great and as perfect as it can be. I'm just super busy, at work, and then I'm also trying to, like, meet everyone and be super friendly, and
Yeah.
which is really hard for me, and,
It's
um
just exhausting.
yeah, yeah, it is.
It's so draining.
Very. Yeah, especially when you know that, like, people are watching you, like, purposefully saying, like, "Is she
Yeah.
doing a good job?" You know?
Yeah. No, I definitely
As
get that.
all summer internships are, of course.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else to share
I
about your life?
I don't think so, but shout out to Kennedy again. Congratulations on your
Yeah, that's
engagement.
super exciting. It's really such exciting times. Colin and I yesterday on the 28th was 1 year that we've been engaged. So, which is
Oh,
crazy.
that
He got me a
is
cake.
crazy. Did he really?
Yeah, he got me
That's
a
so sweet.
cake. Yep. So, not really much has been happening in my corner. I've just been working, but I'm now off, thank goodness. So, I'm ready to relax and revamp my life.
I love that.
So, yeah, I need to actually start packing some of my things to move. That just seems like such a daunting task.
Oh, yeah. Your whole life?
Yeah. Anywho, let's not linger on that one too much.
Really quickly, I do wanna say what I'm doing this weekend, which is going to be in my friend Carlin's wedding. So congratulations to Carlin as well on your marriage.
Yes, congrats, Carlin. You are just surrounded by marriage.
I'm 27 Dresses. I'm the girl from
You are,
27 Dresses.
you are a bridesmaid and never the bride.
Yeah. It's kinda good. As we were saying
Yeah,
earlier, like, it's kinda good to be, like, not
first.
first sometimes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, this week, like I said, we're going to be talking about influencers and things of that nature. And I think the first and foremost topic on everyone's tongues this week is how our favorite makeup brand has sold out.
Yeah.
Hailey Bieber sold road to Elf Cosmetics. But honestly, for, may I add, a small ticket of $1 billion.
Yeah, she's in the billionaires club, and I'm so happy for my girl.
Yeah, but I think she still remains the CEO and, like, creative director and stuff,
Yeah,
and
and
it's her name.
exactly. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how all that stuff works, but she does seem to be still in charge of it, so that's great.
Yeah. I think that it was a very smart business move. And now Rhoda is coming to Sephora, Therefore, e.l.f. products will be in Sephora, which is just a mastermind move on e.l.f.'s behalf.
Was e.l.f. not already in Sephora? They weren't, were they?
No, e.l.f. is drugstore.
Yeah, but like they're at Ulta. Does Sephora not also have drugstore stuff?
I don't think they have e.l.f. I don't think they have that degree of stuff.
Bottom of the
They
bear.
don't stoop that low.
No, e.l.f. stuff is so good.
I love e.l.f. stuff.
I've heard a lot of people like on my podcast and stuff, which I haven't been keeping up with as much because, I'm like a working girl now, not in school. But everybody's been saying like, oh yeah, e.l.f. is like a dupe brand. And it
Yeah.
is, but it's good like it's good
Mhm.
dupes. It's the same as really high
Right.
quality, like expensive makeup. A lot of my stuff is e.l.f. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of e.l.f. stuff too. I really like it, and it's super affordable, which just makes a huge difference because I feel like even if you just go for like powders and stuff, they're guaranteed $15 a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup is just so, so, so expensive. So I'm curious to see the avenues that Rhode will go down now that they are owned by a new brand. One thing I hope they do is make a bronzer. I would kill to have a Rhode bronzer.
Yeah, with the same consistency of the blushes, yes. And maybe a little bit more matte, but yeah.
Yeah, I've never felt anything so smooth as my Rhode Pocket Blush.
I know. And like
I'm
today,
obsessed, and we talk about it every week, and we're gonna keep on.
we talk about it literally every week. But like today is my first day that I've gone to work and not worn like, okay, actually
Full beats.
e.l.f. concealer, e.l.f. powder, Rhode blush. I'm going to be wearing a full face of e.l.f.
Yeah, you are an elf.
I'm elfed up.
What the elf is going on?
Um, but what was I gonna? Oh, but the Rhode blush is just like I felt like I looked totally like fine and like presentable for the office.
Yeah,
It's just my trusty Rhode blush
trusty dusty.
and L'Oreal telescopic mascara. I do have to shout out L'Oreal.
Right, we
They,
can't put all of our eggs in one basket. Shoo.
yeah, and I mean we have to like support small businesses like L'Oreal and like give them publicity as well.
Right. Yes, we
They
have to
need it.
shop small. Those poor tiny
Um,
businesses that have just come out recently.
but what I heard today on a podcast is that the way that e.l.f. sells good products so cheaply is that they are buying in such extreme bulk. Like they're buying billions of like the Pore Grip,
Mhm.
what is it called? Primer.
Primer, yeah.
And it's the same stuff as whatever that is a dupe for. I can't even remember. But they're just buying so much more of it that they get it way cheaper.
Which is a good sign for Rhode. That means they'll never sell out of anything.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
It's still not super expensive though.
No, it isn't. I kind of hope Road stays exactly how it is. I know that it isn't really
I
going
do
to,
too.
but if they change the formulas, I'm going to be so depressed.
Me too. Me too.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think that A, Justin Bieber is okay? And do you think that B, he's. Can you hear these cars?
Yeah, they need to chill.
Sorry, they're super loud. Do you think he's okay? And do you think that he is like a bad handler of money? That's what I've been hearing recently.
I don't really have any input on the money thing because I haven't delved like that far into it. I did, however, see the clips of him performing with SZA, and he looks sick. And he looks like, I hate to say this, but people who are intoxicated and on substances, that's what he looks like, and that's how he was acting. And I know
Yeah.
that he's had like trouble in the past, but it definitely looks like that. And I hate that for him. I just feel like he, like, just being in the spotlight has actually ruined his life.
Yeah, and it's all he knows. He was
Yeah.
so young.
He just never was able to like grow up and develop like the mentality to handle those things because he was just exposed so young.
Yeah.
And it's not like his parents were famous and could kind of guide him. He was just kind of like thrown to the wolves, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like
Totally.
it's just such a common thing with like child stars. They have such a hard time like recovering from being a child star.
Yeah, but Justin Bieber's doing it a little bit weirdly because a lot of times they are like a child star and then they go crazy And then
Yeah.
they recover and they're like on podcasts talking about their
Mhm.
recovery and like they're totally fine. But he has just kind of been like off and on having a hard time in his
Mhm.
entire adult life, you know?
Did you also see the post that he made about Haley being on the cover of Vogue?
Can we please talk about this? I almost forgot about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you just reminded me. Okay, so tell the backstory.
I might get it wrong, so you may know more of the facts than I
Okay,
do. I
so
just know his posts and stuff. I don't know 100% of the backstory.
yeah, that's all. I think that's all I know as well.
Okay.
Haley was on the cover of Vogue. Big deal. Her first time on the cover of Vogue, in my opinion, very well deserved. I'm
Yes.
obsessed with her. She's a new mom. Perfect.
Yeah, she's had a big past few years with Road and the baby
Yes.
and everything.
Yeah. What's their baby's name? Jack.
Jack,
I love.
which is adorable.
Yeah. Oh, Claudia Oshry had her baby.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. And
Oh,
they always name babies like in the Jewish tradition, which is a lot of different criteria, but its name is Reuben. And that's
Reuben. That's cute.
her. They're gonna call him Ruby, a boy named Ruby. I think that's kind of cute,
Yeah,
like
I
fun and
like that.
funky. Yeah. Anyway, so Hailey Bieber's on the cover of Vogue. Justin Bieber posts her cover picture and says, I wish I had it pulled up. He basically says, like so happy for Hailey. Actually, he might not even start out like that. He says, years ago when we were in an argument, I said to Hailey, "You'll never be on the cover of Vogue." So, and then he's like, "So mean, I know." And but then he's like he's like, uh I was actually just like longing for affection and connection, blah blah blah, but I was lashing out, da da da. But congrats, babe. Clearly I was sadly mistaken.
Sadly,
That's what gets me. I was
that's the
sadly
one that does
mistaken.
it for me. The sadly mistaken, I was trying to find it, but I can't find it right off the top. Sadly mistaken is what just sent me over the edge just a little bit. Why are you sad your wife's on the cover of Vogue?
Let me read the exact Instagram caption. Yo, this reminds me when Haley and I got into a huge fight. I told Hales that she would never I told Hales that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Yikes, I know. So mean. For some reason, because I felt so disrespected, I thought, I gotta get even. I think as we mature, we realize that we're not helping anything by getting even. We're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection. So, baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover, because clearly I was sadly mistaken.
I think he was just dumb in topping that. Sadly, clearly, he was sadly mistaken.
Sadly mistaken? Like, you're sad that you were wrong about this? I
Yeah,
understand that he was probably just not thinking when he was typing this, but you are a global superstar.
I if my husband ever posted that, I would just be like, first of all, why did you think in logistics, like I am someone who could be on the cover of Vogue, why did you think I wouldn't be? It's just beyond me.
I like I hate when people come after Hailey Bieber in any way. As we know, we've been over this a million times. And a thing that they commonly come after her for is they're like, Justin hates her. Like, he doesn't really
Yeah.
love her, blah, blah, blah. And usually they're like, because he's in love with Selena Gomez, which is insane. But this makes me think that maybe they're this much right, a tiny amount right, because that is like, you don't.
Yeah.
That's not how
No.
you treat your wife if you're obsessed with her. And you should be obsessed with her. It's Hailey Bieber.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I hate that for her, but
I
congrats to
know.
her. Be
Yeah.
on the cover of Vogue.
Congrats on the cover of Vogue. Congrats on being a billionaire. I hope that you have a long, happy life with Jack and Justin. Truly.
Yeah. Truly, sadly, we will sadly be
Yeah.
thinking about them.
And if you're not, we will sadly, truly sadly be mistaken.
Anyways, so just briefly, I know that we've recently just dabbled in the topic of some influencers that we love. And what we were really thinking about when discussing this topic is how the art of influencing has changed so much
Yeah.
recently. I just feel like it's hard to find like genuine influencers anymore just because you want someone who's relatable, and I feel like a lot of times it's just like showing a false narrative or like promoting things just for financial gain and stuff like that. So it's really hard to like find a genuine influencer who's going to try to actually tell you the truth and lead you in the right direction. So one influencer we have been obsessed with recently and talking about is Jenna Palick. She is one that just shoots it straight forward and will just I feel like she's such a genuine person and what she promotes is genuine. And then in the also this like the realm of influencing, I think that it's also really important to find influencers who are like at life stages and life goals that you aspire to be in yourself. So, like a person that I really loved to watch was I forget her last name, Kennedy, is I think her handle. She is a nurse in Utah, but like she's been really open and honest and vulnerable about how she's not been able to find a job as a new grad in Utah because all the jobs want experience. Like she's applied to like 50 jobs and stuff.
Wow.
And
She's
she
a nurse?
also, huh?
She's like just graduated nursing school?
Yeah. And she cannot find a job. And she also kind of shares about how she was bullied during nursing school by like hospitals and nurses that were precepting her because she was an influencer and they would make fun of her for like the hairstyles she does. So she really just kind of like advocates and talks about some of the challenges that she went through and like the hazing kind of thing in the nursing field. So I really like
Yeah.
to follow along with her. And I think it's also just finding influencers that make you happy and who are not like involved in drama but post like kind of like feel good content. So, do you
Yeah.
have any
I totally
thoughts?
agree. I totally agree about following influencers that are in like similar stages as you or like what you aspire to be, eventually. But another thing I've been liking recently is people who like I guess you call them influencers, but they're most of the time they're not really promoting anything. They might do a few brand deals, but it's just like informational. Like her handle on TikTok is like Astro Alex or something, and she does space content. And I've been loving like random things like that. Like there's this um girl, and I don't know her handle at all, but she like lives really far north in Norway and posts about like living places where like it's dark half the year. So I think the inverse of that kind of is following people who are living completely different lives than you so that you're not so like wrapped up in your own,
Right.
which I
Yeah.
feel like social media really does that to us a lot of times, like makes you think, man, I'm not doing what these people are doing. But if it's someone that is living on the other side of the world as you, or what was my is just teaching you about space content, like
Yeah.
that makes me feel good to see.
Right.
I feel like I'm learning something. And
Honestly, whenever I find an influencer who isn't posting ads like every other day or like sponsorships, I guess I could say, it's so refreshing. I love it because I'm like, okay, so you're not doing this. You're not telling me you love this because you're going to get commission off of it. You're just like actually telling me you love something, or it's content not related to products and sales at all. It's
yeah.
just like recipes and stuff like that. So I think that it's just social media can be so consuming. It's kind of like a tightrope you've got to walk and knowing that you're not letting it consume your every being.
Sorry, I just
Oh, Valentine.
I just got on TikTok to search a influencer that I love, Yolanda Diaz, Yolanda.
I
You know her?
love her.
She is absolutely iconic, and she'll like occasionally do brand deals. Of course, get your bag, girl. But she's so thoughtful in the content that she makes.
Right.
she's like the smiliest, happiest person in the world, and she always has like excellent takes on stuff, I think.
And she has so many hobbies. She's always, like, making earrings, making jewelry.
Yeah, and she has different wedding bands, and she does like wedding stacks. She
Yeah.
golfs. She's been making some golfing content. She posts
Yes.
about her husband. Like, she's very well rounded, and I love her.
Another, account is London and Olivia. They're so stinking cute.
Obsessed with London and Olivia.
They
Yes.
post a lot of fashion and, like, um, London is into golf and Olivia's into embroidery, and then there was another one I was gonna mention. Also like to follow, like, I enjoy thrifting and antiquing, so there's, like, thrifters on there, like Pepper,
Yeah.
I think it's Pepper Thrift.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, she does great ones.
she and her mom are, like, always thrifting in bougie areas, and she thrifted a lot of her stuff for her wedding, so when she got married last year. So, that was fun for me to watch, but yeah, it's, Pepper's Thrift.
Mhm.
So just finding, like, niche things like that of people who are not necessarily just trying to make it big for the sake of the money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them. I mean, it's crazy the money out there, so no hate here, promise.
I totally agree, and I think I'd even on I feel like especially on Instagram, a lot of the influencers post only brand deals, like, on their feed, you know? Yeah, I
Yes.
get it, like, Chelsea and JC even sometimes do that. Our favorite girls, our best
You know the
friends.
girls.
Yeah, our best
Chelsea and
friends
Stacy.
in the world, the blueprints for
Yeah.
influencers.
Yeah.
But, and I still love them dearly, but I do like, I wish they would post, just like I love their photo dumps that are completely
Yes.
just about their lives,
Right.
not anything sponsored. So,
Right.
I think
I
it's good.
definitely agree.
We understand as like content consumers, we understand that like this is your job and you're making money off of this. But we also want to see the classic things that made you a successful
Ooh,
influencer.
that makes you you.
Literally.
I think a whole nother aspect to this is just how being influenced has changed. I feel like social media is like a dark rabbit hole. Like when I get on my phone, I'm scrolling and I'm seeing all these promotions and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I need that. And then I need that. And then I need that. And it's like I'm always in this constant state of want, 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 instead of never just like being grateful for what I have and like using the things I have. I think it's so easy to let any and every source on social media influence you. And that's something that I've really had to like kind of be like, okay, actually, I don't need this stupid dumb product that I'm never going to use, maybe minus one time.
Yeah.
Even like the whole mouth taping trend. Everyone was so, I have mouth tape. I bought the Skinny Confidential mouth tape. Turns out, like, apparently some people were saying that's actually not good for you to like block an airway.
Yeah, these wellness trends just come and go.
Exactly. And then like the Nello Super Calm drink. Yes, it does work. It has like ashwagandha and stuff like that in it. But people are like, this is lowering my cortisol and making me lose so much weight in a month. And like kind of painting this false narrative to sell more and get more commission and giving this perception that people are, oh, going to be so skinny if you just drink this drink. And it's just not, that's not the case. I feel like those are two major like things that I see on social media: the mouth tape, the Nello Super Calm. And I've consumed both of those. I've bought both of them.
I also see it a lot with articles of clothing on TikTok Shop. Like people will post and be like, "This is the best pair of pants I've ever had." And then like you have to search for it, but if you look in like some of the comments of the videos, people are like, "These are completely see-through. You cannot wear them
Yes.
anywhere." And people are just blatantly lying about it.
Right. Or like they buy them once to promote them and they never wear them.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's just, and I feel like the subject of health, it is even more prominent in that. There's always the next health trend going on. The
Yeah.
coconut cult, how everyone needs to eat coconut cult, how everyone needs to take ashwagandha, how everyone needs to drink Nella to lower their cortisol. Everyone's always just kind of looking for a quick fix and stuff like that. and it's not based on anything, essentially. I just get so exhausted with the health trends.
It makes you think, like, people in the world are, like, looking for something, like, they are
Mhm.
searching far and wide for, like, the thing that's gonna fix them, and I know that this is something that people have talked about for, like, decades now, but it's just tough, like.
And we have to realize as a society, it's not gonna be one thing that fixes you. Like, we're not gonna make or find a magical product to make us all healthy. It's gonna be like a work of multiple aspects coming together. But yet, we just don't want that. We just want one answer that's easy and convenient for us.
And from, like, a very, very zoomed out perspective, humans have only been living like we are living for, like, I mean, since the Industrial Revolution.
Mhm.
So, 100 years. What is that, like 3 decades at most? 4 decades? Not decades, generations is what I'm looking for.
Mm,
Um, there's no way that, like, our bodies have caught up to this way of living, so of course we're gonna be, like, searching for
right.
things, trying to figure out what amount of sunlight is the best for our bodies, like, because we first of all, now have the time to do all of this. That's a fairly recent thing in human history. And second of all, are living like in all of this pollution in cities and, in apartments and not walking as much as we should because we're driving and, all of these different things. Like we're going to be a little bit messed up as like a species right now.
Yeah.
So I
The
think,
technologies of the world have been so good, but they've also just been so detrimental to a lot of things, but specifically our health,
yeah.
I feel
And
like.
maybe we will like, evolve to catch up with it, but then it's like, well, what if there's, like, an apocalypse and we have to go back to living, by the land, but now our bodies, after a few more generations, this is, like, very, like, post-apocalyptic ideas I'm saying right now, but it's like, I think that, like, what if our bodies do adapt to living, like, in these high, uh, like, fast-paced environments, our lungs adapt to pollution, or, breathing in all of these chemicals, whatever. Our bodies adapt to eating like microplastics and stuff. And then we have to go back to living on the land, and our bodies aren't used to like actual fresh vegetables without
Right.
pesticides in them. You know,
No, I think that that's super true.
that's a little bit
It's
off
just
topic, but
and I think we have like you were saying, we don't realize how recent all of this is. Like, the iPhone only being invented in our lifetime. It's not like it's been around for 50 years, like, it's been
yeah,
around since after we were born. So, I think a lot of these things we just don't know the long term effects of, and I think that that's also gonna be a rude awakening when things start to come about and things like that. I just think that it's sad, like, that everyone wants a quick fix to a lot of their problems. But, I
yeah,
mean, I definitely get it. It's
yeah.
just part of the beast, I feel like, and so unfortunately.
And it's not even, I think about like with phones and TVs and stuff, it's not even that like I think that they're going to give us brain cancer. It's just like our necks are not used to doing this
Looking down
doing
constantly.
this for our entire lives, and small things like that I think might have a bigger effect than we ever know, like that in our lifetimes we will ever know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And sometimes I just like even scrolling social media and looking at the clothes, there's always something new coming out. And it's like, okay, well, this is the style now. The thing you bought 4 months ago is now out. So you can just go ahead and get rid of it and buy this next thing that will be trending for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it will be out. It's just like, it's a bit exhausting sometimes. If you're chronically online for a while, it just definitely gets exhausting trying to keep up with what's new and happening.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And
Um,
then
oh,
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you're good.
I don't remember. Go ahead.
Sorry, I stole that thought right out of your head.
I'm glad you did.
Um, I'm falling into this trap definitely in my wedding, and this is what we were going to talk about.
Mhm.
Um, online, I love watching all the wedding content. It's so fun to see how people make their own day special and like find all these details. But it's a slippery slope of me being like, "Oh, I hate my wedding. I hate what it's gonna be because I should have done that. I should have done this. Why didn't I think of that? Why can't I afford that? I get on social media and I'm seeing $200,000 weddings, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I want that. Well, who wouldn't? I've got to be realistic with myself and remembering that my life is not the same as everyone else's. I don't maybe have the financial resources that everyone else does. So I think that it's just like being happy with what you have and like what you can do. And comparison is literally a thief. And I
Yep.
will lose so much joy and not be able to enjoy my wedding if I don't just stop and be like, okay, that's beautiful for them. But in my space, I've got to do what I want. And I was telling Laura Grace that I already mourn like the feeling of going to her wedding and being like, I wish I would have done exactly what she did. But once again, I cannot compare my wedding and this topic and stuff or anything to what I see on social media because a lot of it is unrealistic. I mean, we're seeing millionaires put on shows, but even
Yeah.
down to like friend groups, friend to friend, you just can't judge because A, the world would be so boring if everyone was the same and everyone
So
had the
true.
same thought, everyone did the same thing. So you've kinda just gotta take it and then take pride in the decisions you make and be excited for yourself and
Yeah.
be excited for them when they have, like, something cool and a wow factor in their lives, but also being confident in the decisions you're making, which is a little bit hard. It's always when people have more money and stuff like that, it's always really hard to not compare yourself and just be like, "Ugh, I wish I had that," but you just gotta be grateful for what you do have.
Yeah. No, anything, especially weddings, because as we always say, theoretically, you only get one. It's so easy to compare yours to other people, even people who have spent 300, 400, $500,000 on their weddings, because it's like, okay, well, maybe I could have like splurged a little more and like done something
Right.
a little more similar to that. It is my only wedding. So I totally understand like how that comes about. But there were a couple things I was going to say. Oh, first of all, Carlin calls this Pinterest pressure, which I think is a good term for it.
That is such Pinterest is a really bad culprit for this because nothing on Pinterest exists.
It doesn't. You can never find it.
That's a topic. We need to do a Pinterest love-hate relationship episode because, man, it's a doozy.
Yeah, I love Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest more than any other social media, but it does. That's how I've been feeling that way about my dress for your wedding. None of them exist that I
And
want.
everyone I've talked to is beyond stressed about my wedding, so we all just need to take a breather, it sounds like.
um, okay, but talking about your wedding, first of all, I am sure that I would feel the exact same way if my wedding was first. That's what we were saying a little bit earlier. When you're the first one in like your friend group to do something, first of all, there's are absolutely so many perks, more perks than cons. Is that the opposite of
Yeah.
more pros than cons?
Yeah.
Because everybody's like extra excited for like the very first one, like the first baby, the first
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But the next people do like get to learn from the first people. So
Yeah.
there is that aspect of it. Um, but also I just can't stress enough how cool your wedding is gonna be.
I really hope so.
I'm just so excited for it, and I need you to quit dissing it because it's gonna
And
be
that's
so cool.
also and we can talk about this, in the future after everything is said and done. I've been, like, super overly critical of every decision I've made about this, and I think that it has stole some of the joy just a little bit, um, but I think it's also hard because all I have is my imagination. It's hard to, like, see it all come together when
Mhm.
really in my mind I'm just piecing things together, so
Yep.
I'm sure it'll, in the moment, be a lot more grand than what I'm trying to conjure up in my head, so
Yeah,
but
definitely.
anyways, we'll just have to talk about all that at a later date after it's
I'm
done, gone,
s
and over.
I'm so excited for the recap.
I know, I can't believe that we're inching closer and closer. So,
As we always say, it's creeping up on us.
it's creeping very closely. So, do you have anything else you wanna share? I know this has kinda been like a different vibe, if you will, but
It's just like
You
a
know us,
chatty.
we are so versatile in our subjects,
We're
so
very versatile, we're very flexible girls, which is what you
very.
want. That's what you want in your podcasters.
You do, you want girls who can do it all.
Absolutely, and we can do it all.
So be influenced by us.
Yeah. Upcoming influencers, Mally and I.
Are you gonna get off your phone so you can tell these people bye?
I'm, looking up something about influencers.
Oh,
Sorry.
a quote maybe
Not to
from
be, like,
Pinterest?
literally on my phone while we're recording, but
And this is a quote I found on Pinterest. You know how I love quotes, so
something that I find really interesting about influencers is how brand deals work, and, like, we've talked about this a little bit, but, like, how much money brand deals like, one brand deal can be for in some
yeah,
cases.
it's
That
insane.
JC Marie Smith, our absolute homegirl, said, and this was years ago, so I'm sure she's had bigger ones now, but, they did an episode on, like, making money as influencers, which I thought was super interesting, and she said that her biggest brand deal she's ever had is $75,000, and that was in one go,
That is insane.
and she does how many in a year? Like, that's so much money, and she
No,
lives in
and
Southern California, so, like, the cost of living is
yeah,
outrageous, but still.
and you can't blame anyone for trying to be an influencer if that's like, these people who become influencers, their spouses quit their jobs, they're living in mansions, they have everything that looks so beautiful, and I know that's all that we see, we don't know, like, what goes on, but I mean, it's a consistent thing for every influencer, like, they're not hurting, so you can't blame anyone for trying to become that.
Absolutely not, and something I've been thinking about as I, like, enter the legal field is how much time I'm gonna be spending with my coworkers versus, like, my spouse, and that
Right.
is enough to make me genuinely depressed, like, the fact that that just people who work full time spend more time with their coworkers than with their families, that has been
Yep.
really getting to me, and whenever you start a new job, they always say, like, "Oh, you're gonna spend more time with these people than with your families," and it's like, why are we
Why?
accepting that?
Yeah.
It seems like that should be something we're pushing back against, but everybody's just like, "No, you better love your coworkers."
Yeah.
No.
It's really, really sad. So, I mean, these influencers have the benefit of staying home with
Exactly.
their families, and I mean, it's such a luxury. I do think it's absolutely insane the money that can be made compared to like lawyers and doctors and
Yeah.
nurses and teachers and people who are like working these essential jobs for the continuation of society. And yet, if you get a brand deal to promote a product, you're set for life.
Yeah,
It's really crazy.
but another thing that I thought that JC and Chelsea's episode on what we said about making money as influencers was so interesting, and it made me understand things a lot better because they were like, I think that's what this was on, I'm pretty sure. They were saying, like, the brands aren't gonna pay that unless it's worth it to them. So the fact
Yeah.
that these influencers are bringing in that much money to like, they have
Yeah.
that much influence, like, that
Yeah.
monetary value, it's gotta be more than that for it to be worth it to the companies, but is that not the craziest thing?
That would also be, like, very make me feel a lot of pressure knowing that, okay, what I say is worth
Yeah,
$75,000. I would tell people to lick their toes, and they would listen? Like, what?
I know. No, it's crazy.
That has to be very overwhelming to know that you have that kind of influence.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a trip for sure to know
And,
that a
there are
brand.
definitely sacrifices to being influencers. Your privacy, everything like that is exposed, and you are literally putting yourself out there to be judged and bashed and hated on. So,
Yeah, but
Mhm.
there's all of these perks. I mean,
Yeah.
Kristen Johns, I think, also has talked on her podcast and just on Instagram a little bit too about, and she's been an influencer for like her whole adult life pretty much.
Yeah.
But she
She's an
talks about,
OG influencer.
yeah, like a YouTuber. But she talks about how it's like, yeah, sometimes editing your YouTube videos sucks, but like you're not going into work,
Right.
night shift as a nurse. Like it's an easy job.
Yeah, and
we
I
get
think
so
even
much
just
money.
in the thought of our podcast, like, a lot of times our episodes aren't out exactly on time, and we don't post a lot on social media because having a full-time job is so consuming,
Yeah.
and I could see, like, people who do that and influencing together when they're getting started, like, have to be very dedicated to the task at
Oh,
hand.
yeah. Mhm.
Is there an emergency going on behind you?
There always is, to be honest with you.
Anyways, do you have anything else you wanna add to this topic?
I don't think so. I'm sure I'll think of more, but
As you do.
good thing we record every week.
Good thing we'll be back literally in 7 days with more goody good to come.
Yep.
Alright, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully, you aren't bored to absolutely death. But, anyways, we hope that you all have a great weekend. Welcome to June. We're so happy to see you all in this month ahead. It's summer, so enjoy your time, and we'll see you next week.
Hopefully,
See
it
ya.
will stop raining.
Yeah, everyone cross your fingers that it stops raining.
If you're somewhere that it's been sunny, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see you later. See ya, love ya. Bye.
Bye.